Clair.
Hey!
Pete. Hello. This week we're talking about the legend of Sawney Bean.
Oh, even you!
Oh god, I'm going to do a Scottish accent all the way through this.
Donald Rigid through.
What are you on about? I'd never should do a thing like that now, would I? Hey, laddie.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's a Scottish legend.
Could you tell?
Well, like I say, follow us on Facebook at Cut Under the Ball and the Post-Truth Apocalypse. YouTube is Apocalypse Ball and SoundCloud and Cut Under the Ball. SoundCloud and Spotify and all your other podcasting platforms are Cut Under the Ball in the PTA. Let's thank some new returning listeners and we'll get into it. Where shall I start? Västerås in Sweden, Uxbridge in the UK, Montevideo in Uruguay, Ann Arbor in the US, Liverpool in the UK, Frankfurt in Germany, Sydney, Australia, Sulzbach in Germany, Mount Airy in the US, Portland in the US. What's that one there? Assam, it's in Kuwait.
Asabaya.
Pete, you're going to be better with that pronunciation than I am. Samaria?
Salimia.
Yeah, probably a
Asalimia.
Brussels in Belgium, Bournemouth in the US, Telford in the UK, Ashburn in the US, and Guadalajara in Spain. Thanks so much for listening. It's all appreciated. Tell a friend.
Cheers, Aaron.
Tell several friends.
Keep listening. I'm keeping track.
Let's go into the legend of Sawney Bean. So in recent times, the stories of Hannibal Lecter and the real-life horrors of Jeffrey Dahmer have provided chilling accounts of cannibalism.
Nom nom nom. Oh, sorry.
Tastes like pork.
Yep. So I hear.
However, Scotland can lay claim to one of the most gruesome horror tales ever recounted, the legend of Sawney Bean. Sawney Bean was born in East Lothian, approximately 9 miles to the east of Edinburgh, with all legends' dates are rather sketchy, but some versions of the tale put his birth around the reign of James VI of Scotland. James VI was he the one who was in charge of England as well?
1500s, late 1500s, something like that, is it?
Yes, we're around that mark.
No idea, to be honest.
I believe it is, yeah. You look talking like 1500s. I'm not sure whether he's actually the first one to do both. So he was the son of a hedger and ditcher, which sounds shit, and then became a tanner, which also makes you stink of shit.
We know what that
And
is.
we.
Shit and wee.
Lovely.
However, hard work was not his forte, and he eventually decided to give up making an honest living and fled to County Galloway with his new bride. And here they found residence in Banani Cave by Ballantrae in Ayrshire. And he decided that he wanted to become a highwayman.
Okay.
But on date wise, anyway, he was king. Well, he was born 1566, 1625. So it is around that.
Is he the first one to do England and Scotland? I'm sure he is.
Yes, King of England and Ireland.
Oh, of course, we've got Ireland too. Yeah.
And the Union of Scottish and English crowns.
So, highwayman, that's a bit more risque, isn't it?
There's a lot of highwaymen around at this time because, you know, travelling around in Britain at this time there's not that many great roads.
Let's face it, that's all Robin Hood was.
Essentially.
Really?
Yeah. Thing is, Sawney Bean decided that dead men tell no tales. Most people would just rob you and take your stuff and let you go. He didn't. He just shot you there and then, or ran you through.
Yeah, he took it to a different level to Robin Hood, didn't he?
Very much so. Very much so. Because dead men don't tell tales, and if you want to get away with things, robbing people, hey, what's the best way to do it?
Cut the tongue out
Well, you could do that.
and the fingers off.
It's a lot of effort, though. A lot of effort, though, isn't it? It's easy to run them through or shoot them with your flintlock. Or matchlock, probably, at this point, actually. If he's got a gun at all. Guns in their infancy at this point, aren't they? The cave was a perfect hideout, with tunnels penetrating the solid rock and extending for more than a mile in length. Furthermore, twice a day at high tide, the cave's entrance was flooded for several hundred metres, making it almost impenetrable. And from this subterranean lair, Sawney Bean hatched his plans for his family's future. And with honest labour out the question, he turned to robbery and began to ambush travellers and to ensure he wasn't caught, he made the point of not letting anyone escape with their lives. And Sawney then saw an answer to yet another dilemma. The being clan was growing, no doubt through incest,
Oh dear God.
and soon reached upwards of 46 sons,
Fucking hell.
daughters, grandsons and granddaughters.
It's a right fuck cave, innit?
Yes! You know what, Mike, that's the best. It's a fuck cave.
So it's certainly been there a while then. If they've like generated this small army of supposed three-armed and
Subterranean kids.
wonky-eyed. Yeah, you know what I mean.
He looks just like his daddy, uncle, mama.
I'm going to eat in Brosley, isn't it, Claire?
It'd be like them things out of The Descent.
Boy, she's your sister. Make sure you do it properly.
I'll show you how.
Basically, it's like it's the
I
West.
don't know why they all went hillbilly then. These are Scottish people, but still.
It's the West. It's Fred and Rose. Well, Fred's West. His upbringing was like his dad's like, right, fuck your mom, she'll make a man out of you, kind of thing.
Oh, I read the book about them too.
Fucked up lives.
Yeah, they were, weren't they?
We did an episode on them. I think it was a
Christmas
Christmas episode.
special,
Yeah,
yeah.
Christmas episode.
Sounds like one of your Christmas episodes, yes.
Yeah. Yes, it was.
Christmas with the Wests.
That's not a Christmas I want. I don't want a Christmas with Sawney Bean. I don't want a Christmas with the West either.
I've just pictured the perfect like poster for that. Christmas with the Wests. I've pictured it in my mind. Oh dear, I'm sick in the head. Anyway, carry on.
So, with so many mouths to feed and a surplus of fresh meat in the form of human corpses, he took the horrific decision to resort to cannibalism. As you do.
46 kids to feed.
Well, 46, kids, granddaughters, grandsons, sons. Oh, man. What a fucking nightmare.
Oh man, can you imagine the state of that cave?
Yeah, I can.
Stink of sex and rotting meat, wouldn't it? Rotting human flesh.
Do you reckon?
Smells like my room.
Do you reckon incestual sex smells worse? Because I picture it smelling worse.
Yeah, I would, yeah.
I get that feeling. And there's a bit of a lack of cleanliness going on in there as well, so it's probably not going to help.
Yeah, I don't think anyone smelt too good at them times, is
Well,
there?
that's very
God,
true.
yeah,
I mean, the rich are bathing once a month. The poor are barely bathing at all.
They go in like, lakes and rivers and shit.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, then why aren't they getting in there like, at least once a week?
Because it's Scotland, it's fucking freezing, lassie!
And remember that the soap is that really stuff that takes your bloody skin off at the
Like
time.
rocks. In Scotland, it'd have been rocks.
Yeah, it would have been rocks or gravel, yeah.
Pumping all the industrial waste into the rivers, aren't they? The tanners and all that.
No.
Oh yeah, everything's just going in the river, isn't
so,
it? Yeah.
So bathing in the river is probably not a good idea.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
You know what? Everyone's going in the river.
I'll say that is the toilet.
Yeah.
If you live near a river, you ain't bathing in it.
Not at all.
Not a chance.
They got loads of locks and lakes.
Just think of all that silt at the bottom of the river is mainly all old human shit. A lot of that would be.
If you're bathing, these turds are floating past you.
That's what it's like at the minute, to be fair.
Well, yeah. I haven't bathed in the river for a while. What's it like, Pete?
Well, yeah, it was a big thing the other week with the Cambridge Oxford riverboat race.
You know they've told them not to get in the water.
Yeah, well, they all had the shits and spewing all over the place because of it. A lot of them weren't well at all.
What, after, the day after? Like,
Well, between training, people were ill the day before and the same day.
dear.
But yeah, there was like massive amounts of pollution within the river because there's been a lot of excessive
Dumping.
overflowing of the sewers. Basically, they're just, I guess, because of the heavy rain and the flooding and that, they then have to release the water somewhere, and they go into the Thames or whatever.
No, they're just doing it because the Tories are letting them.
Well,
Yeah.
this
Should be
what
illegal.
what I was talking about is what's meant to happen.
Yeah.
Especially for
if
emergencies only.
yeah, if you need to, fair enough, purge the system because otherwise everyone's going to be having it coming back through their toilet systems. Fair dinghams. But when they're doing it all the time like they have been, there's been
Well, it's 'cause
massive...
they privatised the water companies, didn't they?
Yeah.
It's Brexit.
They'd
We
rather
don't,
take profits instead of what they should have been doing is upgrading the system.
Anyway, we digress.
it's Brexit too. We haven't got to adhere to EU clean water laws anymore.
No.
So the Tories have taken that as a opportunity to take some money and
Free
let them.
chance to earn a couple of quid.
Yeah.
Cunts, aren't they?
Yeah. I can't wait till they get back. They're not getting re-elected this year, surely
I can't
not.
see it.
Fucking hope not.
So Sawney Bean's cave victims are ambushed with military precision by the Bean clan, with all means of escape cut off. Remember, they're coming out the woods. You know, you go forwards, there's 20 guys, 20 people, all looking sufficiently inbred. You turn around, there's another 20, all looking sufficiently inbred. And you're like, well, what the fuck am I going to do here? I mean, bear in mind, no one's travelling unarmed at this point. But still, I don't care if you're Bruce Imard Lee. You know, you're not getting out of that. There's 40 people.
40 crazed fucking
Hungry people.
really weird mutant cannibals.
Yeah.
It's the hills of eyes, isn't it?
Yeah,
That's
basically.
that is what
Yeah.
I'm That's
Yeah.
the wrong turn.
Yeah.
That's what I'm picturing.
As many as half a dozen victims could be ambushed at a time, and the hopeless victims were killed, dragged to the cave and butchered. What they couldn't eat, they pickled and preserved, and what they didn't preserve, they tossed into the sea. Yeesh. Soon these grim discoveries, including perfectly preserved but decaying body parts, were discovered washed up. Alongside this, the number of missing people in Galloway was rising. Not surprised. To make matters worse, many who had gone missing had last been seen at local inns, so the suspicion naturally fell on several innocent innkeepers who were wrongly accused and hanged.
Fucking hell.
Oh. So they're taking drunk people as well, because they're going from the inns.
Yeah. Easy to
Yeah.
ambush a drunk, innit?
God, yeah. That sounds like I knew from experience.
Yeah.
I don't.
Alright, Sawney.
No, he's obvious in it though. You take
Yeah.
out the really vulnerable drunk person that can barely fucking walk.
Yeah.
And plus, all that beer might make extra tasty, you know.
Fermented. It's preserved already.
Human and ale pie.
I'd take just the people trying to come into the town, and then the town doesn't know that they disappeared, and then where they come from, I
I
lost
don't
our
think they're the
route.
brightest. Are they
I was
cave
about to
dwellers?
say the same. I don't think they were the brightest sparks in the light bulb set, were they?
No.
Plus, there's 46 of them. You're going to get anyone that comes along, aren't you?
Well, them hungry children and grandchildren and fucking mums and dads and uncles and brothers and
How much
they all need feeding.
How much meat can you harvest from a human body?
I get most of it, I guess. Bit of cheek meat, that'd be nice.
Ass cheek.
Either or.
Cheek. Oh, that's meant to be a delicacy.
The sweetbreads are the delicacy, only the tongue and the throat area. That's meant to be the best bit. So I've been told.
Yeah.
Don't eat the brains.
No, don't eat the brains and get prion diseases.
Mm.
That's when you start getting the shakes and yeah, fucks you up. Does take a while though.
Is that why you shake? Got you.
Estimates of how many victims met their end at the hand of Sawney's clan vary from several hundred up to nearly 1,000 souls. The fortunes of Sawney Bean and his cannibal family finally took a turn for the worse around the year 1600. The gang attacked a man and his wife travelling back on horseback from a local county fair. A gang of women dragged the poor unfortunate wife from her horse, where she was stripped and disemboweled, and then, as the husband desperately fought off his attackers, he witnessed these same women beginning to devour their victim. How fucked up is that? They literally get her off the horse, slit her throat, cut her stomach open, and start feasting on the goo inside.
Oh my god.
Oh.
Right there and then.
It's fucked up is what it is.
Couldn't just fucking cook it first. No.
Nope, having it raw. People would have eaten raw meat a bit more back then. I mean,
Well, the Inuits eat raw meat, and people, you know,
people rave about them.
yeah. Bet they're really healthy, to be fair. A lot of protein.
Well, it's walking all that miles in the snow as well, I'd imagine. You've got to take in the calories, haven't you?
Oh, yeah. Just the cold itself, you've got to take more calories in
Yeah,
it.
of course. So, yeah, the husband's like on back of the horse. He's probably hacking with a sword or trying to hack with a sword. If he's got a properly trained horse, he'd be kicking, rearing and trying to bite faces off, but I doubt he has. Probably past that point by this, 1600.
He was a drunkard coming out of the bar,
Well,
wasn't
they've been to a fair.
That's right, yeah.
So he witnessed the women beginning to devour his wife, and no doubt finding new strength from the horror he was witnessing, the husband fought desperately to escape, as you would if someone's just dragged your significant other off a horse,
Fucking zombies!
killed her, and
Yeah.
started eating her there and then. I would. I'd certainly find a new lease of life.
I'd get the fuck out of Dodge.
Zombies, werewolves, what the fuck are they? That's
suppose-
what I'd be like.
Have you got zombies at this point? They might be whites at this point. I don't think zombies are a thing, are they?
Probably not at that time.
But you'd have ghouls and flesh-eating things, wouldn't you? Spirits. No doubt finding new strength from the horror he was witnessing, the husband fought desperately to escape, finally driving his horse over his attackers. Just at that point, a group of 20 to 30, returning from the same fair, came upon the awful scene. Sawney, realising that even his gang were outnumbered, fled back to the cave, this time leaving the evidence in the form of one mutilated corpse. They tried to drag it back to the woods, but couldn't manage it in time.
So 20 or 30 people were just like, what the actual fuck?
And you got a thing in those days, most people would have walked around brandishing some form of weapon.
Yeah, everyone would be armed, especially in Scotland at this point. You'd all have a knife at least. Everyone carried a knife because it was a utilitarian tool. You used to cut your meat, used to eat with, self-defence. Everyone would have had a knife. Some may have had a sword.
Yeah.
Pistols?
Maybe.
Is it
Basic
era for
pistols. Very basic pistols.
More than likely not, but
Mm.
there could have been.
Would have been a more of a rich man's game, that one.
Yeah.
Right.
You'd had matchlock pistols, I guess, but again, wealthy people.
Mm.
The traumatised husband was swiftly taken to see the chief magistrate of Glasgow, who reported the crime to the king himself. James VI took a very keen interest
James
in
the Fourth,
witchcraft.
isn't it?
Oh, James IV. Sorry. I said the 6th earlier.
No, it was the 6th. They've
Oh,
got
was
that
it?
wrong.
Have they?
Yeah, James IV was about 100 so years earlier than that, I'd imagine, if not more.
Well, I know that James VI had a very
Yeah.
a very accurate interest in. He had a very massive interest in witchcraft.
Paranormal in general.
He
wasn't it?
wrote a book about it, which became part of the basis for the witch trials. Wasn't a Malus Maleficarium, which is the most metal name for a fucking witch book ever. Hammer of Witches. If there's not a band called Malus Maleficarium, I want to know why.
Mm.
Probably because it's fucking difficult to say.
There's probably a copyright,
Nah, it'd be public domain at this point.
wouldn't it?
Yeah, it's like 400 years old.
So it is James VI, not the fourth, it's
Yep.
a typo.
James VI. And these crimes so enthralled him that he took personal charge and very soon arrived in Ayrshire with tracker dogs and a small army of 400 men. Because if you're going to do something, do it properly.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a fair amount though. If you're going to take out a gang of 50 people, potentially, you want to make sure you outnumber them 4 or
Yeah.
5 to 1.
And
Yeah.
they've got that inbred strength.
Yeah.
You know, they're
Yeah.
ravening lunatics. Despite their best efforts, no sign of the bean's lair was discovered. That was until the dogs picked up the scent of something very unholy, i.e. rotting meat and inbred sex.
'Cause that smells lovely.
Do you think you got this dog's specifically trained to track out inbred sex? He's hanging around the royal family all the time. He's coming from the cave's entrance. Oh, imagine the fucking stench.
Oh god.
Oh, I don't want that.
They can't all live in the one cave, can they?
Yeah,
So
it's
it's a
a
mile long.
Big cave.
Oh, right, wow.
big bad cave, a mile long, various tunnels. Eesh. Carefully, the troops entered the Banani cave and were treated to an almost unbelievable sight. All around the walls, rows of human body parts were hung up to dry. God, it's like a fucking house of horror.
Just a bit.
Sounds like they're making sort of beef jerky, sort of like, you know, maturing it a bit.
That's what you would do though. You'd
Well, you
salt
let it
it,
hang- you
you'd
let it
salt it
hang.
and let it hang.
You let it hang, don't you, to let any of the blood leave. That's
Yeah.
the whole point of the hanging process, isn't it? And then obviously
You
you've got
salt it.
because you don't want blood in your meat, do you?
Ideally not, no.
Because you know when you see that blood, I'm putting in brackets.
In
Not
your
brackets.
steak, it's not blood.
It's not blood. It's enzymes.
Still love me a
Miss-
bloody steak.
I
Not
don't know
blood.
how because it's not blood.
I love me.
Juice, isn't they?
I love me an enzyme steak.
Thank you. But yeah, it's a misconception that it's blood in
Yeah.
the meat. If there's blood in the meat, you shouldn't be eating it because it's not good. It spoils it. It doesn't cook in blood. It solidifies it. It's not nice. It's like black pudding and that. Like you essentially have that running through, but not nice. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just what you don't. Yeah, but that's the process of hanging. It's to release all of the blood. So yeah, you never have blood in meat.
Have you ever seen Hannibal, the series?
I haven't seen the series,
No.
no.
Oh.
What's the first season?
At one point, Eddie Izzard plays this guy who's a psychiatrist, and he's pretending to be the serial killer. But Hannibal gets hold of him and basically feeds him to himself. So he takes an arm first, then a leg, then another leg, then his other arm. So he's using one arm so he can eat and taste himself.
No.
But he hangs the arm. He's got this leg hanging up, and he's like got snails on it. And that's what the French did it. Apparently, he's put snails on it. I don't know why. The cooking in that show, by the way, is you can buy the cookbook. Obviously, it's like a human meat, but the dishes he prepares, obviously, substitute. So he's like telling everyone, "This is pork," and it's not. And everyone's going round to his house for these amazing dinners, and he's like got this leg of lamb, and it's cooked in a pottery cask, and he's like, "Oh, you just got to break it just right." Dink, dink, and it just all crumbles, and starts carving this lamb. It looks fucking amazing. It's not lamb. That's
Shit.
the problem.
It's like my thigh.
He's just feeding it to the head of the FBI and his wife and various other high-profile people. Yeah, the cookbook is apparently worth getting.
Substituting with beef and lamb.
Yeah. So, the recipes are there. You just,
Yeah.
and of course you've got all the gold and all the jewels, clothing, personal possessions. You've got like it's like a dragon's lair
Yeah, dragon's trove
crossed with the butcher's shop.
of.
Aladdin's cave.
It is an Aladdin's cave of horror, one might say. The beans struggled to escape, but were vastly outnumbered, and around 48 of the clan were arrested. Some of the king's men stayed behind and gathered up what human remains they could find and buried them in the sands, and the rest accompanied the wretched Bean clan to Edinburgh, where they were locked up in the toll booth, which I'm guessing is the Scottish Edinburgh prison. Right, you guys, you stay behind here and clear out that mess.
Yeah.
Oh, do I have to? Yes.
Picking up rotten bones.
Picking
Oh.
up picked bones that
Would
have
not
been
be
gnawed
nice, would
on, meat hanging up. I mean, you don't want that duty. What have I done to deserve this?
No, you don't want that. That would not be nice at all, would it?
No.
I
I
think
mean-
how old some of it might be as well, and how decaying some of it would be.
Yeah, exactly. They don't strike me as people who would keep a clean cave. There's no housekeeping going on here. If that meat's rotten, I just leave it.
Do they shit outdoors?
I'd imagine so, but then again, you don't know. I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe they
If you're
crap at the cave's entrance where the sea comes in, and that washes it away.
If you're a mile back in the back of the cave, you're probably not gonna.
Nah, it's a
Walk
long
a
way.
mile
It's a
to-
long way to walk for a shit, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, oh god, everybody's here. I can't go when everybody's watching. There's 48 of us.
Imagine if there were some vegans that had to clear up that shit.
I don't think veganism was a thing in those days.
There may have been the odd one or two.
Just chose not to eat meat.
Yeah, but they'd have been pussies and shunned by the society, which is what should happen now.
Hung and burnt like witches.
Yeah. You don't eat meat? To the gallows!
Yeah. Throw them in the river. See if they float.
Of course they won't float. They haven't had their meat. So severe were the crimes and so clear the guilt that no offer of a trial was given. It's like, look, you're fucking guilty. We're not even gonna waste everybody's time with this.
Banter rights though, aren't they?
Yeah,
With
just a bit.
the hanging bodies, it's just like, yeah.
It's the Ed Gein scenario, isn't it?
They can't really claim that it was here like this when we got here.
Their arms
Yeah.
and legs were just hanging there, weren't they?
It was like this when we got here, Governor. Except the Scottish.
It were like this when we got here, Governor.
There you go.
Okay, the new.
Have you got to say "I don't know" every time? Do Scottish people even say "I don't know"?
It is a phrase. It is like, how are you kind of thing.
I've worked with several Scottish people, some of whom I could understand, some of whom I couldn't. But I've never heard one say that.
Well, they don't really say it, I don't think. It's an old... I believe it's an old saying. It's something like, how are you now? Or, I don't know, okay, the new... yeah, I'm alright. I fuck knows. Something like that.
That's like I bist the jockey, I suppose, you know.
Loads of people say that.
And that is, how are you, mate?
Loads of people say a bisty jockey.
No, they don't, not anymore.
They do.
They do in Dorley, but that's about it.
It's a fine place of culture.
Yes.
So no offer of a trial is given. They're not gonna waste anybody's time. And the very next day, they were taken to Leith under sentence of death. 27 men were hung, drawn, and quartered. That's not a nice way to go.
Certainly isn't.
Rough.
Or is it you're hung until you're virtually just about alive, and then they take you down, and well, there's several ways to do it. You can use horses.
Horses was one of the best, wasn't it?
Yeah, they probably use horses.
Yeah, they tie you to a horse.
Quick, strong, they're going to rip
That's
your
the
arms
drawn
apart.
bit, isn't it?
Yeah.
Where they, so you be
be stretched.
Strung, drawn and quartered.
No, drawn is. Aren't you just tied to the back of a horse and drawn through the?
No, they rack you almost.
Oh, is it a rack? Is it?
Yeah, it's like, I suppose there'd be some pulleys and they tie your hand and ankles to it and they just stretch you until your bones are separating. And then once that's nearly happened, they'll probably split your stomach open and then they'll cut you in 4 pieces.
Yeah. Or
The
just
disemboweling
let
is
it
the...
keep pulling until it...
Yeah. It's either until you come apart, or if you're still alive, then they're going to disembowel you, which is going to finish you off. And then they're going to cut you into 4 pieces and send you to all corners of the realm as a warning that this is what happens.
And that was the original meaning of it, wasn't it? I don't think it always happened when someone was quartered, but that was the original meaning, wasn't it?
Yeah, pretty much. It's
Because
like
they did it to one of the...
It's a William Wallace.
I'd say it's one of the ancient... Not ancient, yeah, well, it is ancient, isn't it? But it was like one of the martyrs of the time kind of thing. I remember, yeah, William Wallace, yeah. Well, they did do it to him, though.
I think they did.
probably because he's a traitor. It was reserved for the worst things.
I know there's a lot in that film.
Embellished.
Yeah.
Don't get me started on that film.
It's a fantastic film.
The American Scottish accent for one.
Yeah.
That was quite.
Most of it is
strange.
complete bollocks, but what a film. Still, nonetheless.
Even though he's Australian.
Mel Gibson just doesn't like the British. So it boils down. He doesn't like the English. That's what it boils down to. I call him a racist. I feel offended when I watch his films.
He's Australian, isn't he?
Well, yeah, he's a fucking
Aussies
convict
either
anyway.
love us or hate us.
He's a fucking convict.
Calypso's really good.
Never
Yeah,
watched
it's
it.
good. Brilliant.
Really
I've
good.
never watched that, to be fair.
Haven't you?
No, I haven't.
Really
No.
good.
Subtitles in it.
I don't mind subtitles. It's
He
just,
can read, can he?
I can.
I
I've
can't
proven
be
that on hundreds of occasions.
I can't be arsed reading when I'm trying to watch a film because I find I miss half of what I'm trying to watch because I'm reading.
Oh, I don't know. I've watched some really good subtitled stuff.
Yeah, I'm watching Shogun at the moment. That's subtitled. Most of it.
I watched this fantastic Russian war film. It was like set in Afghanistan. It was all subtitled. It was fucking amazing. It was like the Russian Full Metal Jacket.
Cool.
Fantastic. Never found out what it was called. I was pissed when I got in. I missed like 3 quarters of it. I missed the first quarter. So the women and grandchildren of the clan were forced to witness this awful spectacle, and while they screamed in horror, 3 huge bonfires were built, and the remaining 21 women were burned like witches. Bet it drew a crowd.
Witches.
I bet it drew a crowd.
Does it say what they did with the kids though?
Yeah.
The men were 27 men were hung, drawn, and quartered, and the women and grandchildren, I assume, were all burnt.
Well, that only accounts for 39 people from that.
27 and 21 is 48.
Oh, what?
Even my maths tells me that.
It's 21.
27 men.
Pete can't read or do maths.
No, I read the numbers wrong. I must have read numbers wrong.
I rest my case.
I thought I read 12. Okay. Yeah, okay.
51 women.
So they killed the kids as well, like.
Yeah.
It's kind of ruthless because it's
It's a
not the
bit
kids'
rough,
fault.
There was no tried as adult matter. If you've broke the law, you're taking the punishment, and
Yeah,
that's
you
it.
are right. Yeah.
Clearly a horrific tale, but unfortunately one that lacks any kind of supporting evidence. There are no records of missing persons around the time, but that's not exactly fucking... It's not like records are being kept, is it?
Nah, no.
There's no birth certificates, no death certificates. You go missing. This was if you wanted to just disappear, you could quite easily disappear.
You could have records, didn't you?
You might have parish
back to the
records.
Doomsday book.
You'd have birth records and death records in the community, but once you left that community, what happens then? If you just don't come home one day, like,
I think they used to have censuses every now and again.
every now and again, but maybe once a monarch, which could be, 30, 40 years, 20 years, I don't know. Varying, but yeah, maybe once a monarch, and that's only to discover how much tax they can levy. Bastards. However, King James's cameo appearance does make the whole story even more fantastic, and some reckon the story was concocted in the 18th century in a sort of a penny dreadful. Do you know what a penny dreadful is?
Yep.
It's a very old newspaper that cost a penny, and they would publish tales like this.
A scaremongering.
It wasn't a newspaper, it was
A pamphlet,
like a magazine.
Magazine, yeah.
Scaremongering, basically.
It was like stuff.
Propaganda,
No, it was,
almost.
no, it was just like horror stories and things.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
it was
it
just
was
horror
entertainment,
stories.
yeah.
Oh, okay. It
Like
meant as that.
The Weekly World News. It was actually, it could have been a bit of anti-Scottish propaganda aimed at the countering Jacobite sympathies, because, the Jacobites thought they had the claim to the throne in Scotland, and, there was a few rebellions later on. There was 2 at least I can think of off the top of my head. So, yeah, it could have been like a bit of anti-Scottish propaganda. So remember the Scots, once in the 19th century, Victoria, that Scotland, being Scottish, came back into fashion. That's why the
Being
monarchs...
Scottish has never been in fashion.
It was, funnily enough, at one point. Victorian times, people started wearing kilts and the tartan because it had been
Being
banned.
ginger.
They started being ginger again.
Yeah.
Ginger people were drowned at birth up to that point in England.
Ginger people would actually try and come out in the sunshine.
Yeah.
No, they
No,
wouldn't.
get back
No,
in.
they wouldn't.
There was a whole ginger police force of like, get back in.
Get back in that cave.
Get back in that cave.
All ginger people are cave dwellers.
They have no soul.
Is that what you refer to the splat as? Okay, or do you not live here and you just keep up the pretension you
I
actually
told
live in
you,
a cave?
I'm not ginger. I'm not German. I'm not ginger.
I'm not
You're not
ginger,
ginger
I'm
German.
strawberry blonde.
Autumn sunrise, mate.
Autumn sunrise, so red. Which is...
No, it's not red. It's autumn sunrise. Get it right.
It's red or orange, it's one of the two, it's a sunrise. Because your hair ain't pink. So whatever the truth is, the legend of Sawney Bean is still pretty fucking horrifying in all fairness.
I reckon he was ginger.
Oh, he'd have been ginger, you know it.
He had a friend like our... Fuck's sake, he had a friend like our hair.
But he can't talk either, he can't read, he can't talk.
Don't try again.
I picture he had hair. hair like our friend Loz, the dude out of Simpsons.
He is, yeah.
What's his name?
Sideshow Bob.
Sideshow Bob. That's the one. The one with the big, crazy ginger hair.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I'm picturing him in tartan for a start.
Oh, definitely. With a little tartan beret, kind of one of those
Absolutely.
little Scottish beret
Yeah.
hat things.
Yeah,
Hasn't Willie out the Simpsons got orange hair?
he has. Yeah. Actually, groundskeeper Willie, I can probably picture doing this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So Sawney Bean
He's got a cool,
Probably not true.
got a cool name.
could be true.
Could be based on the truth.
I mean, it could be.
Could be.
I mean, there's every history and period's got its cannibals. I mean, every period in history's got its inbred tribe. We're just combining the two.
It's a believable one. It's one that's not out there,
No.
isn't it? Really.
The cave is there. The cave exists. I watched a YouTube video on some dude who went to find it,
Mm.
and it's there. So
Any
It could-
etchings inside?
But it could have been tales that they told their kids, don't venture to that cave, there's cannibals that eat you. You know, to try and make them stay in the village or...
your cousin Jock went to the pub and never came back.
I think it's probably along them lines.
Yeah, maybe. I like it though. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, it's not. It is awesome.
Well, you'd think there'd be some sort of etchings inside the cave, wouldn't you? You know,
What
It
cocks?
does look like Loz.
it does, doesn't it? Yeah, that picture. We'll look at the picture now.
Well,
Well, yeah, you'd have, you know, stick men,
Artist
cocks,
rendition.
boobies. I don't know, whatever.
You know what I
I
love
don't
about
think it was a Snapchat photo. Fucking hell.
You know what I love about cave etchings?
Mm.
We've been drawing cocks for fucking thousands of years. We
Do you know-
we find it hilarious to draw a massive cock and balls on a wall, and for some reason that has never left the human psyche.
Do you know what I've always thought about cave paintings? I wonder how many of those are actually really as old as we think they are, or whether they've just been drawn by fucking Dave and his pissed up mates a couple of weeks back. Because it'd be very difficult to... Because if you age it, right, you're aging the material that's on there. You're picking up a rock or whatever that's painted it that's probably as old as the cave anyway. Do you know what I mean? There's got...
Wouldn't if you let's say you're right, and that Dave and his pissed up mates drew some people hunting a buffalo.
Yeah.
Surely the humidity and dampness in the alternating in the cave, the dampness especially, would that not age it in a way?
If you had a bit of brains about you, you could easily recreate the aging of it, couldn't you?
Yeah.
Easily. Because like I said, what are they actually... If they're analysing it,
I guess
what are they analysing? How do they guess the age of something?
the thing is, it's very difficult to analyse anything
Carbon dating,
that
isn't it?
it's carbon, but it's
But you're only dating the material, so if you're using the same material as what's on the floor anyway, that's going to be the same age as the wall itself. You know what I mean? The area that's being carbon dated, so it'd be very hard. I should imagine
There's
that'd
gotta be
be
a-
quite easy to fake, maybe.
bearing in mind that carbon dating in archaeology is not my forte.
No, me.
There's
either.
must
Don't
be
say.
there must be some way of figuring out
Yeah.
how old it is, but I mean, you could be. Hey, everyone thought crop circles are real at one point.
That's the thing I've just thought up in my head, but I could have just solved cave paintings. Let's go see if we
Or-
can recreate one.
Or they
Discover
could have
it.
been done by prehistoric man.
But let's go to an old prehistoric cave. Let's try and find one and say, oh, we found these cave paintings.
Yeah, but they're not in every prehistoric cave.
Yeah, but let's find one and make one.
I think they'd figure it out, to be honest. It's fake.
Let's-
Especially when you've just drawn a massive cock and balls on the wall.
Pete was here.
It was here, 2024.
I was going to go like full on, like, not buffalo, because I don't think we have buffalo in this country.
No.
I'd be going like good old Frisian cows and
Hey,
a couple of bunny rabbits.
you want a mammoth, didn't you? If you're going to do it, you're going to have a mammoth.
A mammoth with a couple of dudes with spears.
Yeah.
We have mammoths.
And a couple of little rabbits running around. Actually,
Did
no,
we have
'cause
mammoths, yeah?
bunny rabbits aren't actually. They're not from England.
No, the
No,
Romans
no.
bought them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're brought over, so I couldn't put bunny rabbits on there, could I?
Snails.
Yes, snails.
Giant
Snails is
snails.
farming snails.
You know, they're fox farming snails. I suppose they can't get away, can they? It's quite easy to keep hold of them. Yeah. I suppose it would be, wouldn't it?
Snail
Wouldn't
farming is the oldest.
Oh, God, I wouldn't want to eat snails, though.
Oh, lovely.
Oh, no, I tried it in France.
Then again, you have to think about the continent shift, don't they? I mean...
I'll just draw a dinosaur. I'll draw a dinosaur. That'd be really convincing.
That'd fuck everybody up.
Like, shit, humans were alive a lot earlier than we thought we were. We found this cave painting. We've carbon dated it, and it is old.
65 million years.
Well, either that or the dinosaurs were really, really savvy and we didn't realise.
Well, there was that film Theodore Rex with Whoopi Goldberg.
Technically, we've still got dinosaurs.
Technically, but they're not proper dinosaurs, are they?
Yeah, I worked with a couple.
You see a few Neanderthals about.
Yeah, I worked with a couple of them too.
Could be a legend, could be true. I lean towards it's certainly got some basis.
Possibly.
I like to think it's true.
You'd like to think
No,
it's true.
I don't like to think it's
I'd
true.
like
It's
to think
one of
it's
those.
not true.
No, in that sense of things, I like to think it's not true. But I don't know. I feel there's a lot of believability about this one, so maybe it could be true.
Yep, could be.
The king,
Stranger things have happened.
the king making an appearance is an interesting one.
Well, this is kind of the coolness about it. It's like the 400 king's men that went to raid this cave and they found it and they took them all and they all got killed and justice was served, kind of the eye for an eye, and that's what I mean. I like this. I'd like to think it was true because the whole story, not the fact that they were mad cannibals that potentially killed 1,000 people and ate them. That bit not so nice.
Especially
yeah.
considering the population was a lot less than 1,000 people's a hell of a lot of people.
That was half of England, wasn't it?
You'd still be talking over a good 10 years or so, wouldn't you?
It's got to be over that if he's got granddaughters.
Oh,
and
yeah,
shit,
yeah.
hasn't
So
he?
20, 30
It's
years
got to be at least, hasn't it?
over that
And they
spell?
would have been eating, like, you know, animals as well, wouldn't they?
Not once they tasted that
No, once you
sweet human flesh.
Yeah, once you taste human flesh, there's no going back.
Hmm.
Special stuff.
I'm going for it's probably bollocks. It might be based on something similar that was perhaps not as horrific as that.
Yeah.
It might have been slimmed down.
Yeah.
That might well
It's
have happened.
embellished, whatever.
Yeah, it might well have happened, but it might have been half a dozen people got
I mean,
killed.
How many was it? At least 48 people.
Living in this cave, yeah.
That's a lot of fucking... You can't tell me that people hadn't noticed them.
There was probably 3.
Yeah.
They just thought,
Fishermen or whatever. Or...
yeah, they're too close to get taken in and butchered.
Maybe, but...
Well, that was it. There was no
I can't
witness
imagine
ever
for
left
30
alive.
years that they were... Well, yeah, I know, but for 30 years
Yeah,
they
like-
go unnoticed.
Scotland's fucking remote.
Yeah. it
And
is.
if you're in a cave on the coast where no one... And if you do go too close to it, you're killed, dragged inside and eaten.
Maybe.
I mean,
Maybe. I find it a bit hard to believe.
it's 1,000 people over 30 years. How many is that a week?
If you said it was only like 100 years ago, I'd agree with you on that.
Mm.
Hard to believe. But I think in them days, I think it was doable.
But surely, you know, people are going missing. They're going to go looking for them.
But you'd find the people that they were taking generally would have been travellers, people coming in or leaving, because where they
Maybe.
were, they were like highwaymen. They were
Mm.
looting the
Yeah.
people in the woods, so they weren't like going into the city and taking 10 people out at one night. They were taking travellers mainly. So
Even if you're in a group of 10, there's 48 of them.
yeah, was it? They were saying they were well equipped to ambush 6 people all day long, kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're taking 6 off at a time, well, they never came back. Where'd they go?
What do you think, Claire?
I think it's a bit of bullshit, and it was
Mm.
just, you know, it's less than stated, but it's been embellished over the time, you know,
Yeah.
potentially.
I go for it's based on a bit of truth.
Yeah. So I think we're all kind of on the same base
Yeah.
on that. Then we're all thinking there's some basis of truth in it.
Yeah,
How
I'll go with that.
how many died?
Okay.
For once, we're all in agreement.
Ooh.
Wow. Fucked up facts.
Yeah. Theme tune, please.
Facts, facts, fucked up facts,
facts.
facts.
Fucked up facts.
Go on then, Mike.
Okay, as we were talking about dinosaurs, I've got a dinosaur fact.
Yeah, I love a dinosaur fact.
A day in the life of a dinosaur was 23 hours long.
Oh, right, okay.
Oh, when do you sleep?
What do you mean, when do you sleep?
Why
Well,
is
they
it 23 hours?
I'm thinking they're doing a 23-hour shift eating fucking...
The sun obviously used to revolve around the Earth a lot quicker than it
No.
does now.
No, it's the Earth. It's to spin faster.
That's the way, yeah, because that's the year, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's the day, isn't it?
The Earth
Yeah.
spins an hour a day faster, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Slowed down.
I'm having a dumb moment. I'm blonde today, obviously.
It's
Fucking
something.
hell.
In 1973, the governor of Michigan made a brief speech at a funeral and was paid in frozen pizzas. 30,000 of them.
What's it going to do with all that?
Seems excessive.
It does, doesn't it?
I mean, you'd have to have a lorry turning up. You'd have to unload it on, offload it on pallets. You'd
Pay
have to have
for
a walk-in
storage.
freezer.
Yeah.
Seems a lot of hassle. Like, unless, of course, he's getting them like so many a year.
Maybe.
Just a lifetime supply of frozen pizzas.
It's still a lot of fucking pizza to eat, though, isn't it?
What
I mean, I
happens
love pizza.
What happens if they go bust in 5 years?
I guess they're contracted to pay out the rest of your deal, or you come to some financial arrangement out of the bankruptcy.
Either way, fucked up.
I mean, I love pizza.
Who's going to name that price anyway? You come up with that?
Well, that's a valid point. Was it the funeral of a noted pizza magnate?
Mario.
Yeah.
It was Mario.
Just jumped down one too many pipes, didn't he?
Or was it the Turtles? Could have been the Turtles, actually. That sounds a lot more likely, doesn't it?
Could have been.
30,000 pizzas. That's got Michelangelo's name written all over it.
Yeah.
And Mikey.
The Last Turtle. There's a comic book called The Last Ronin where like Michelangelo's getting revenge against the Foot Clan Shredder because all his brothers are dead. He's got all their weapons and he's gone on a revenge spree.
That does sound familiar. I've not seen it, watched it, read it. It does sound familiar.
They are doing a film, an animated film of it, which should be interesting because it's meant to be quite brutal.
It sounds quite dark.
Very dark, very brutal. Though I do recommend Batman Meets the Ninja Turtles, which is fucking amazing.
Really?
Yeah, it is.
Batman just doesn't like anybody but himself.
He does. He befriends them. He
Spoiler
realizes they're on the same team. Batman beats the fuck out of Shredder. The Turtles spent all that time fighting Shredder. Batman beats the fuck out of him twice.
And they're like, hey man, where have you been?
Pretty much. He starts training them a bit. They all eat pizza at the end. It's a feel-good story.
Okay.
What's that on?
It's part of the DC animated universe, which is a lot better than the DC film universe. DC animated films rock. Genuinely, they really do. They're dark as well. They're not for kids. Some of them are pretty dark.
Next.
Did anyone in their day used to watch Star Trek The Next Generation?
Yes.
I'm watching it as we speak.
Yeah. Well, in Britain there would have been one episode that wasn't shown.
Oh.
In 1990, the BBC refused to broadcast a Star Trek episode because it referenced a fictional 2024 reunification of Ireland.
Yes. Yes, it does. I haven't seen the episode, but I've
haven't
seen
seen it because
they censored it. Damn it!
Right.
But I've seen the memes and the screenshots and the grabs of it's something I can't remember. It's Picard or Data, and they're on about the 2024 reunification of Ireland. Yeah.
So,
Good Friday Agreement was going through around then, wasn't it? Or was that a bit later?
Well, later.
Yeah, it would have been.
This was
Wouldn't
see,
it?
I
That's
reckon
just
I'm watching around that.
Mm.
Season 4, so it's probably 91.
You might get it on Netflix.
Well, I'm watching it on Paramount Plus.
Mm.
I don't think that episode's on there because I've not seen that yet.
It's amazing, isn't it? How much
Censorship.
How
Terrible, isn't
sad is that?
But then again,
Yeah, it's
I
pathetic.
suppose 1990, the situation in Ireland is still quite politically volatile.
Oh yeah, very.
And if you're
much
like,
so.
hey, it's the 2024 reunification of Ireland, all of a sudden, people like go, ooh, 2024, eh? We can work towards that.
It's ridiculous, isn't it?
It is ridiculous,
And
but
it
I
was
get it to a point.
2024, was it?
Yeah.
well, they ain't getting that, are they? Ha ha!
Does anyone know what the most annoying word in the English language is according to a new survey?
I wouldn't like to say.
Britons have voted for.
Perhaps.
No,
give
I
me
don't know.
give me a moment.
Just think of something the Ute might say.
A what?
The Ute. Oh, dis, dat.
No.
Oh, the youth.
Bumberclart.
They do.
Do they?
Yeah.
Is that the Ute saying
Look
that?
at that.
Yeah, man.
They brought that back then.
Are they putting it back?
Irie.
That's an old sort of.
What guan?
What?
What
Yeah.
guan?
Bumberclad.
Bro, bud.
Amazeballs.
Amazing
Oh,
balls.
another me.
Oh, that's a good word.
No, I fully agree. That's Essex
I don't
trash.
think that's a terrible word.
That's this. The only way is
Amazeballs.
Essex
You are
trash.
You are right.
Hold yourselves to higher esteem, people.
You are right. But that's not where I know it from. So
That's not where I know it from.
But
not
it
sure.
is.
I'm
That's that Joey Amazeballs. Oh, fuck off, you little
If I'd have
twat.
known it was from that, I might not have ever said it. But I
he
just,
obviously knows more about it than we do.
I'm
Yeah.
a study of a student of culture, Pete.
Ah!
Well,
watched
you've been
Married
watching-
at First Sight as well,
No, but I see a lot of memes.
Mm.
so you can guess who's left and been voted off and what.
Yeah, pretty much.
See, you're in the know.
I'm in the know against my will because no matter what my algorithm is, I always seem to end up with celebrity bullshit somewhere. Probably because I follow the Daily Star for weird news. And every day in the Daily Star, Amanda Holden's in it. Every fucking day on their website, Amanda Holden news.
Still would though.
Oh yeah. I'm not saying I
What's
wouldn't.
she doing? Maybe.
Oh, she could be. She's usually posing in underwear.
What's wrong
I'm
with
not
that?
moaning, but it's not newsworthy, is it? You know.
I don't know.
Not when
Amanda
she was-
Holden, like
There's
in her
there's,
underwear.
there's two major conflicts going on around the globe. At least two.
Your boner for Amanda Holden and what's the other?
I'm gonna boner for Amanda Holden.
Oh right.
You know, she's
Right.
fine. I've got no issue with her. She's an attractive woman. I'm not saying that if she offered it, if she said, Ben, do you want to go to bed? I'd be like, yes.
He would get a boner. for
Then I
that.
would, obviously. But at the same time, I'm like,
I
I'm
know
not.
what
But
you
I
mean.
don't care
I
what
know.
Amanda Holden does on a day-to-day basis
I
when
know.
there are more pressing matters.
That's the thing, isn't it? But at the same time, is it not just a bit of light-hearted news
No.
to cheer people up?
News is news.
I know what you mean. If it ain't bad news, it ain't news.
I am a citizen of the earth, and I need to know what's happening. Not
Not
that Amanda
about-
Holden's
yeah.
getting a kit off. There's more pressing matters. Not that I'm too complaining too much. I mean, she was posing nude the other day. You couldn't see nothing, but
Oh, that's a shame.
I guess you had to be there. I think she was posing for a life artist. Les Dennis fucking married her. How the fuck did he manage that? Les Dennis. People abroad won't get that. People in any other country apart from the UK will not get Les Dennis, but he used to present a show. Did you Catchphrase or Family Fortunes?
Family
Fortunes.
Fortunes.
Family Fortunes.
Catchphrase was Roy Walker.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Say what you see.
So it's,
If you see
Good.
it, say it.
It's good. It's not great.
Yeah.
I used to live around the corner from him.
Did you?
Yeah. Well, it's around the corner, literally like the next village.
Mm.
But I used to see him like every now and then in Lytham, St Anne's.
Oh, so you never like, hey, Roy, what day's bin day? Thursday? That's good, but it's not right.
Would have been ace, wouldn't it? No, everyone always used to say hello to him though, and he'd always say hello back. He wasn't an arrogant dick or anything. He'd always have time for people.
Celebrities back then were at the dickhead level they are now.
No, and he was relatively normal. Like he lived in Lytham, St Anne's, near Blackpool,
Oh, do you remember?
and he'd go to the shops and he'd walk to the shops on his own. You'd see him every now and then. He wasn't always there. He probably had a house in London or something. But
Pete Postlethwaite used to live round here.
yeah,
didn't he?
I used to work with his niece. She claims.
Mm.
But yeah, He was a good actor.
He's
wasn't he?
apparently one of the best actors that's ever known, according to
Steven Spielberg.
According to Spielberg, one of the best actors. He's the best actor he's ever worked with.
He was a really good actor though, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Anything he was ever in,
Brilliant.
he stole the performance of it. 100%.
Sharp and Jurassic Park 2.
Sharp is brilliant.
Sharp, he was fantastic. God, I
Yeah.
fucking love Sharp.
Yeah.
They'd never make that nowadays.
God no.
Napoleonic era army of that day would look very different if it was made nowadays.
Why?
It'd be more diverse. Yeah.
Yeah, and it really wouldn't have been, because the French are notoriously very racist up until very recently.
Well, you couldn't call them frogs on British
Up
TV,
until the
could you?
First World War, pretty much.
Mate, they were paying.
Mate, they're voting for Le Pen. They're quite racist still.
They were paying black people 10,000 francs, and I'm talking like not that long, not that far away, like 40, 50 years kind of thing at the most.
What, to fuck off?
Yeah, to go back home, and that's what they were genuinely doing. And at that point, 10,000 francs was about £1,000.
Which was still quite a chunk
So,
of money back in the day,
equivalent now-
50 years ago.
Equivalent now, probably
Yeah.
10 grand.
What I'm going to say is they used to be very racist. The First World War, it's because the Senegalese and all the colonies fought with the French.
Yeah. Well,
Fought
yeah.
for the French. So.
Of course they did, yeah.
And then when they got residence in France because of it, 30, 40 years later, they were trying to pay them to fuck off back to
Thing
their
is,
original country.
I run-
That was terrible.
Ironically, the French would not have a decent football team if it wasn't for immigration. I mean, Zinedine Zidane, Algerian. That was a team that was unbeatable. My God,
Thierry
what that is to
Henry.
me. Thierry Henry, Zinedine Zidane, Desailly,
Patrick Vieira,
Patrick Vieira,
Yuri Djurkaev.
Joker. They have no team. They wouldn't have won any of them. Even now, Mbappe.
Next fact.
Yeah.
A rhino's erect penis
All right, Claire's interested. I can see by the look on her face.
is 76 centimetres long
Fucking hell.
Wow, I should call myself Rhino Cock.
and it's shaped like a lightning bolt.
I like it even more. It's like Zeus.
Maybe I should call myself.
I'm Rhino Cock and this is Zeus. That's all. When we got the pub beat, that's it.
The wingman names.
I'm Rhino Cock, this is Zeus. Mine's 78 centimetres long. He's just shaped like a lightning bolt.
Did he break it?
No,
It's all the spots.
versatility.
It's
And
jagged.
fertility.
It's jagged for your pleasure, milady.
Ribbed. Next. Quick. Talking about my funny shaped penis, hurry up.
I actually can't comment on this. I've never seen it. I don't want to see it. But if it is shaped like a lightning bolt,
It
I
is,
am
it is
curious.
normally shaped.
Yeah.
I hope.
If it's shaped like a lightning bolt, I would be slightly curious.
There is a library in San Diego, California, where you can borrow taxidermied animals.
I've heard of that.
Why would you want to borrow one?
Oh no.
Yeah, it's a good question. That you remember that was a thing.
Other than taking it to show and tell, maybe, at school, why would you want to borrow one?
Have you ever been in a home with had a I mean, when you were a kid, because that was a thing back in the day. I mean, my nan had a taxidermied fox in a glass in a case.
Yeah, the lady
Back
I
in the
cleaned
day-
for's got a badger.
I used to deliver to a woman who had a beautiful owl. Put right as they opened the door, it was like right ahead of you, only about 2-3 metres away. Massive owl. And it was stunning. She wanted rid of it, and I almost bought it off her.
I mean, when we were kids in the 80s, it was people still had that shit in their house.
Yeah, I've seen a pike as well at a pub.
Be worth some good money, some of them, man. Ones
mean-
that are in cases and that.
People used to have their pets taxidermied, like their beloved pets.
Our friend Hazel, who we all know, she does taxidermy as a hobby.
I'm always a bit wary of anyone that does taxidermy as an hobby.
She does it as a hobby, yeah.
I'm just wary of taxidermy. I swear that badger's eyeballing me. And I'm just trying to clean its glass case, and I'm like,
Yes, you haven't cleaned that properly,
yeah.
bitch.
Yeah, she's really into it though, that taxidermy. and she's very skilled at it. as
I
well,
know,
to
but
be
where are
fair.
you getting the fucking animal bodies from?
A bit of
She
roadkill,
she
maybe?
gets given
You
them
can't
by.
give roadkill's no good, Claire.
Yeah, because it's good.
It depends.
It's roadkill for a fucking reason.
Yeah, but it depends, doesn't it?
That's what you might start with, though. You don't want to, just be having any old carcass.
Well, you don't use the bones, do you?
I know, yeah, you got to
So-
take them out. Or
I
should you
know,
imagine
but-
it to open it up along
The
the...
tyre tracks aren't going to go away easily, are they?
Wash them off. Bit of washing up liquid.
I know,
I
there's
can
Scrub it a
imagine
bit.
there's an art to it where you've got to
No,
peel the
there
skin
is.
off it and then take the bones out of it and then plump it up a bit with...
Peel a dead badger.
Yeah.
Yep.
I
Teach it in school.
am wary of people that do taxidermy.
So no, she gets most of it given to her
Yeah.
by like friends who've like found some roadkill and shit like that.
When
that
was the
is
last time
pretty
you
good.
went to her house?
I've never been to a house.
How do you know what else she's taxidermied then?
Good point. Maybe I'll clock for an invite soon and see it first.
I wouldn't. You'll end up in the formaldehyde.
Mm.
Formaldehyde, whatever the fuck is
Yeah,
it?
that was right.
Formaldehyde. You'll end up in the formaldehyde, mate. I wouldn't bother.
I'd take her.
Shame she
Sure.
couldn't have done a boyfriend.
Next.
A city council candidate in Washington lost his election by 1 vote.
Oh, that is gutting. And it can come down to one vote.
And I bet that goat. That
That
vote
goat?
was
They
that
don't,
vote-
they don't fucking vote with goats, Pete.
well, I bet you that vote was from an animal.
He lost because he didn't vote for himself.
Oh, the
What
fool.
a dick.
The fool. See, that's the thing. I couldn't vote for myself.
But he wouldn't have. He
No.
wouldn't have won though, would he? It'd
It would have been a draw, but you might have had a
a recount
Yeah.
or something.
You can
re-vote.
you can all or you recount. If it's that close, it's going to be a recount
yeah.
anyway, because you have a team of voters. There's like 4 people and an adjudicator, and it's a fantastic atmosphere when you go to that. By the way, it's fucking amazing.
I watched it on the telly. It looks quite
It's fucking tense.
tense, yeah.
I was pacing, admittedly. Didn't need to in the end, but I was pacing. So you can see the pile building up.
Mm.
Because you got a tray and it's got your name on it. You can see the name, and you start seeing the pile going up and the other pile, and you're like, oh, I fucking got this. Unless anything goes majorly wrong in the last third of this pile, I fucking got this. Yeah, it's tense. It's incredibly exciting, and when they read the name, so and so has been elected to this thing, you're like, oh fuck, it's really good. To be fair,
Mm.
The wind is well intense.
I don't know if you can hear the wind, listener, because the mic doesn't have that much range.
I'd say it is.
But if you can hear it, we are experiencing a storm. Although my phone told me today that I should wear sun protection until 4 o'clock today, because all it did was piss down with rain.
Maybe it was just taking the piss.
I
I wasn't trying to be funny then. Maybe it was just taking the piss. like
Alright, last fact then.
more than
Disco clams have 40 eyes.
disco clams.
Yeah!
Cool.
Disco clam doesn't advertise that
Is this
fact.
why they're called disco clams?
Must be.
Nice! They got like sort of spiny looking
Oh, wow.
eyes up coming out of like a normal clam.
Do they
Bunch of eye
advertise they've got
stalks.
40 eyes?
Do they what?
Disco clam doesn't advertise he has 40 eyes. Do they have little leather jackets that say disco clam?
They should do.
I'm gonna make that my mission in life.
Like disco stew.
Yep, I'm gonna put it for the charity to get little leather jackets made that says disco clam for disco clams.
Amazing.
Okay.
Well,
On that bombshell.
on that bombshell, please give generously to discoclam.com. I've been Ben, thanks for listening. Tell a friend, and do as thou wilt. With any consequence.
I've been Mike, thanks for listening. Peace out. Better talk to you with you.
I've been Claire, thanks for listening. Keep an open mind, but not so open that it spills out your ears.
And I've been Pete. Hope you all have a nice week. Take care.